Good morning, good evening from here, from a very cool Southern Highlands in New South Wales in Australia. It is summer here. It's not cold. We have hot winters, and we had 37 degrees 2 days ago. So it is quite ridiculously hot. Fortunately, it started raining yesterday, so it's cooled down. But it is quite the opposite from where you are right now. But I wonder were people online just now watching Ajahn Brahm's 50th anniversary? Was anybody watching that? Aya Chanda was there. I saw her on online, but it was a very, very inspiring and session with Ajahn Brahm, recollecting his life and his teaching and paying respect and gratitude to all that he's done. So watch it on YouTube. It will be there recorded. So with that inspiration in my mind, let's start with some meditation. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday for you, and hopefully you're ready for half an hour or a little bit more maybe of getting into the mode with your cat. There's a cat. All right, so hopefully you're nicely settled with or without a cat in your rooms. And ready for half an hour of giving time to yourself. Opening your heart to your own self and allowing everything in. Allowing yourself in. So just begin by making sure that you're comfortable. Comfortable in the space that you're in. And comfortable in your own body. Comfortable in the skin you're in. Allowing yourself to relax. Allowing yourself to just feel your body. Feel your body sitting in this room. Allowing it to just be as it is. allowing yourself to breathe. Bringing your mind back to the present moment. And just going through your body, part by part, starting with your feet. Just noticing how it feels. And then your legs, taking note of any sensations, any tightness, any tension. Paying attention to our body. And allowing it to unwind. Into our abdomen again. Just letting it be. Noticing how it feels. Not trying to stop anything, but just allowing whatever it is to come and to go. And moving on to the upper part of our body. And then onto our arms. Down to our fingertips. And then up to our shoulders and our neck. Our faces, including our head, our brain that is often very tired. Letting your whole body relax. Feeling your whole body. Allowing it to open. Allowing it to feel. And then bringing attention to our minds. Is it quiet? Is it tense? What can you do to allow your mind to relax? Allow it to soften. Letting go of the clutch we have on our lives. Letting go of controlling. Perhaps we become aware of our breathing. If it is so. If not, whatever it is that your mind usually chooses as its object of meditation. Could be just being here in the present moment. It could be an object of loving kindness, an object of inspiration. Allowing your mind to settle. Settle into the simplicity Settle into the not controlling. Bringing your mind back to the present. Back to looking inward, not outward. Learning to just be. Notice things. Notice the sensations on your body, your breath, whatever it is. Being with things as it is. Bringing your mind back. Bringing that sense of not controlling, but yet attentive, observant. Right. Just few minutes to go. And slowly make special effort to not lose a moment. A moment of awareness. A moment of peace. A moment where you don't have to do anything. Bringing your mind back. Enjoying the last few minutes of silence. And so we come to the end of the meditation. Before we end, reflecting on what happened in the last half an hour. Taking note of how your mind changed and what helped it to get there. And one more exercise before we end. To reflect on your whole day, not just this half an hour, but this whole day. What happened? From the time you woke up to where you are right now. What are the things you did? How was your mind? How did your mind react to the things you did? We go through our lives and never take stock of what is working, what helped us, how could we improve, but also rejoicing. Perhaps during the day, I am sure you did something good, something to benefit someone else, going out of your way. Could be stopping to listen to somebody who needed to be heard. Could be making a cup of tea for someone else. So many things that we do out of the goodness of our heart. We never stop to recollect. So bring that to mind and see how it makes you feel. We so often focus on the things that went wrong. But we are training ourselves in something opposite. To focus on what we did good from the smallest act. Needn't be anything magnificent. And give ourselves a pat on the back. See how it makes you feel. To recollect good things. Good things that you have done. And we share the happiness that this gives us, the happiness of being kind or generous or forgiving. And we share that happiness with all beings everywhere. May there be peace in this world. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I thought I'd add that last little bit at the end because, you know, we rarely stop to remember the good things we did. And there are so many of them during the day. We don't even think of any one of them. It's kind of tragic. We spend our whole day doing something, doing good things, and we just fall asleep without, you know, even thinking twice about it. So I've kind of tried to make it a practice. Of course, I forget, but before going to bed, to just bring to mind little things I am proud of myself for, little things that I am that I went out of my way to do. And it makes me happy, you know. This is what the Buddha called chaga anusati, or reflecting on one's own generosity. It's actually a meditation because it brings up joy. It brings up genuine joy, not joy from like, gee, I'm such a goody goody, but the joy that comes from remembering the happiness that comes from letting go. So the Buddha says, think of it, think of before you do something good, think of it. While you're doing it, think of it. And after you do it, also think of it. And so, you know, you cash in on all your effort rather than just, I don't know, let it just waste away, chuck it in the mud. So I think it's a really lovely exercise, and I encourage all of us, because all of us are very good at remembering all the things that went wrong, but to try and turn our mind to all the things that we did good, not just, you know, getting your job done, but that came from the heart. Well, of course, getting your job done, that's good too. That came from the heart, that came from relinquishing, that came from letting go, that came from giving of yourself. So yeah, it's a genuine practice. Anyway, I had planned a talk far more complicated than that. I've got like half an hour to do the whole thing in, but I'll just go for it anyway because it's a cool topic. It's a cool topic. It started with about a week or two ago. One of the nuns in the neighborhood. She's a Korean nun. Well, she's an Australian Korean nun. She's writing a book about evil. She's got involved in writing a book about evil. So she was quizzing us on what we thought about evil. So this got me thinking, because society has, we define, we feel in our hearts sometimes, oh, that was an awful thing to do, that's evil, or see something on TV or hear something about well, countries, prime ministers, rulers that do what seems to be evil things. But what is it in Buddhism? What is it that the Buddha called evil? What did the Buddha call Mara? I hope, has everybody heard of Mara? Yes? Mara. Yeah, Mara is in Buddhism what we would think of as the devil, but is it? So, what is Mara? Who is Mara? Is there Mara? Is it the devil? And so I was asking this question of who do you think Mara is? What does he look like if there is a Mara? Does he have horns? Does he, carry a trident and surrounded by flames because he lives in hell? Or is Mara just evil thoughts? That's also quite often Mara. Mara is the defiled mind, a deluded mind, the mind that thinks of has awful, mean thoughts towards other people. Is that Mara? Or is Mara really a person? Question. I won't ask too many questions because we ran out of time. But just in your mind, what do you think evil is? And is there such a thing as the Lord of evil, if that's what Mara is? So for Buddhists, often Mara is just the psychology of our mind that is deluded. But when you read the suttas, Mara is more than just psychology. He turns up in various places because if Mara was just the negative mind states, he often comes to the Buddha, the Buddha who is fully enlightened and whispers things in his ear. For example, after the Buddha was fully enlightened and was, sitting in the bliss of jhana, he was contemplating whether to teach or not. And then Mara comes to him and says, don't bother. These people are difficult to teach. They won't get what you say. It'll be much easier for you just to enjoy your peace. So if Mara was just defilements in the mind, that wouldn't have turned up in a Buddha's mind, or someone who has, been practicing for aeons to be sitting under the Bodhi tree to have fully realized Nibbana for the sake of other beings, for this thought to come up in his mind, if it wasn't actually another being. So Mara comes up in so many, the whole Mara Samyutta, a part of the Samyutta Nikaya, is when Mara comes to the fully ordained Buddha and frightens him. He, dissuades him. He tells him off. He suggests, forget about this whole business. So it seems to be that Mara is more than just a personification of evil. So who is Mara, and what does he look like? Where does he live? And so when we look in the suttas, it seems to be that Mara is a real person, a real being, and he lives somewhere. He lives somewhere, and he doesn't live, interestingly enough, in some cauldron of oil, ready to pop somebody in next. That's not where he lives. He lives in the Paranimitta Vasavati Deva realm. So, Deva. Mara lives in a heavenly realm. And the name of the realm that he lives in, it translates as the heaven where beings delight in controlling the creation of others. So beings that delight in controlling others' creations. They don't do it themselves, but they manipulate. They delight in controlling other people's stuff, other people's delights, other people's, projections, other people's creations. So Mara he's not, I found out he's not the head, but this realm has it's like a country with many counties, what do you call them? You could say, many divisions, many areas. And he is, you could say, he's the prime minister of that a particular state in Paramnimitta Vatvadi Deva. And it's a position. This is actually, according to the suttas I found out today, it's not the one person. The person dies, and then a new person takes on that position of being Mara. So, for example, apparently Mahamoggallana, who was one of the Buddha's chief disciples, was Mara at one stage. He occupied that position of being the head of that state where beings control the creation of others. So what does this person look like? There is a fantastic, you've got to look it up, fantastic story that has been written by a monk who lives in Canada, called Letters from Mara. And it is a spoof. I think he's taken it from C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters. Not that I read the Screw Tape Letters, but anyway, if you have, it's hilarious. But it's a letter from Mara to his armies. And so there, in the suttas, there is a sutta on the 10 armies of Mara. And this letter takes that sutta and turns it and looks at it from our modern world. Mara is writing to his 10 armies in our modern times, and what he's telling his 10 armies, it's absolutely hilarious. It's even more hilarious because it is everything we do. It's not hilarious, it's scary, actually. It's not funny. But I thought I'd bring this up because, it's good to be aware of how the very little things we do are feeding into this delusion and this genuine trap that we buy into. that Mara perpetuates, this trap that keeps you just ticking over in samsara, telling you that, if you try hard enough, get the right house, get the right car, find the right partner, you'll live happily ever after. I mean, we all buy into it, right? But this is actually quite a powerful sutta, because it brings all these things up and says, look, this is not leading you anywhere. This is just taking you in circles. So let me read you the sutta, but just because all the things that are in this 10 list are things that we do all the time. And, we live in Mara's realm. That's specifically where we live, in Mara's territory. It is only when you are in out of the sense world, in the jhanas, or if you know what the jhanas, states of deep meditation, is the only time you have escaped Mara. But in the meanwhile, we can be aware of Mara's realm and what his world is, so that little by little we learn to recognize and turn away from the very things that cause us to perpetuate suffering, to perpetuate ourselves in Mara's world. So I'll read you out these list of the 10 armies of Mara. The 10 armies of Mara. Okay. So there is my. So, okay. So the first army of Mara is sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures. It's like our bread and butter. I mean, the economy thrives on it. We buy the latest iPhone thinking that it's going to be exactly what we need. We go out to dinner, we spend ages finding the right food. I mean, how much of our time is spent trying to get the ultimate sensual pleasure? But has it ever given you everlasting happiness? No, but we still keep doing it, because somewhere deep inside we think that we're going to find that sweet chili. But just to recognize, and the next time you're going to I don't know, go onto the internet to find whatever it is, that perfect thing that you were looking for, to put in the corner of your room that will just set it off. Just hold back. Is that what is going to bring ultimate happiness? Is it better to do that, or just sit down and do something more meaningful with my time? So the first army, sensual pleasures, a million things. The internet is like the heaven for Mara. He doesn't even have to bother. I mean, he probably created the internet. Maybe he did. Anyway, we won't go down that road. So the first one is sensual pleasures. The second one is boredom. I mean, we are encouraged to be bored. We are encouraged to be, if not spend a moment, not waste a moment, sitting down doing nothing, God forbid. Sorry, but we get onto our phones, see if something needs to be done, see if someone has replied us. We don't just sit down, read the newspaper, finish our work. We can't do nothing. We can't be bored. I was in the train going to Sydney the other day, and there's this glassy look on people's face if they're not on their phones. There's just this how what can I say, the difficulty we have with just doing nothing. We look into outer space and we look just dead if we're not doing something. So watch yourself. Allow yourself to be bored. Allow yourself to do nothing. Allow yourself not to pick up your phone. Allow yourself not to go to the fridge and see, can I put something in my mouth just to entertain myself. So boredom, discontent, all this takes us away from being silent, from we're always looking outside. All this is taking us away from looking inside and seeing reality, seeing what is actually going on in our bodies and mind. We are constantly distracted. So that's the second one. The third one is something, fortunately, that most of us don't have to deal with, is hunger and thirst. But it is there on the list because, fortunately, I am sure none of us have had to genuinely experience hunger. But if we did, we'd kill somebody. How many wars are fought over water, over land that is fertile, just because of hunger and thirst. So, like I said, fortunately, we don't have to do this, but obesity really, and both obesity and being starving, they're both obsessions of this desire to feed our bodies, isn't it? They're both an obsession with hunger. So yeah, interesting, even in our times. And so that's the third one. So the first one was sense pleasures. The second one was boredom. The third one is hunger and thirst. And the fourth one is craving. Now you would think that this is like, why repeat yourself? Because sensual pleasures, the whole thing is about craving. But craving is Mara's, like, it's his biggest department. Why it's not only craving for sense pleasures, it's also our craving to be somebody. We want to be at least angry. That's the worst. But we want to be known at work. We want to be the person who does a good job. We want to be the person that people say, she's a good accountant. We're constantly trying to be somebody, be the one that people like, be the one that people go to. I mean, it's all good stuff, but it's that desire to be somebody. It's all extremely it's just so in our psyche, we don't even stop to think about it. But we feed on it. We feed on that drive to be someone, somebody that people know, somebody that people admire. So there's the desire to be, and there's the desire not to be as well. So that desire that kind of is sort of a bit anarchistic, that kind of goes, oh, who cares? I'm just going to do whatever I want, the desire for annihilation is a little bit like, who cares? If it feels good, I'll do it. It sort of is the precursor to not keeping your precepts, really, because you just do whatever makes you feel good. Yeah. So craving, huge department of Mara. You've got to read this letters from Mara, because it's a really cleverly written story. Mara is so the scene is set. There's this lovely gardens, fields, these kind of heavenly nymphs dancing around, and at the top of the hill there's this just castle that with dazzling gems, and it's just so attractive, and clever joinery, and just lovely little corners, and inside this castle is a gentleman, very beautifully, the perfect attire, perfect suit, and immaculately dressed, and sitting around him is his secretary is there, lovely secretary sitting on his lap, doing his nails with a notebook in her hand. He's busy writing his letters. And who is this? None other than Mara himself. So this is how this letter personifies Mara. He's actually quite a charming man, and his job is to he's busy, right? His job is to keep us charmed, keep us you know running around the wheel of samsara, doing meaningless things that just endlessly perpetuates itself. So yes, you've got to read this letters from Mara. It's quite hilarious. Yeah. So where are we up to? Craving. Yes, craving. Anyway, so we've got 4 now. The 5th one is dullness and drowsiness. So we work like crazy and we sleep like crazy. We have no time to meditate because we're so busy doing one or the other. But to notice, how we tend to push ourselves to the max and then collapse and have no time to just be mindful and to have that time to be clear and aware. So dullness and drowsiness, it could be the dullness and drowsiness of just people drink, having just dulling our senses with alcohol, or just simply falling asleep in front of the television. But noticing that tendency to just switch off rather than being with our minds and being with the uncomfortable feeling of wanting to fall asleep, but just noticing it and not necessarily buying into just annihilating yourself with sleepiness. So dullness and drowsiness. There's quite a lot here, but I'll just go through it. And you can look at the sutta yourself and see, and just reflect for yourself how we do these things. So the 6th is cowardice. Cowardice. It is not taking a risk, not going outside our comfort zone, not leaving the job, not, don't do it. It's your mom will say, don't, why are you wasting your time going to monasteries? Just do what everybody else does. So cowardice often stops us from getting out of our comfort zones. and getting out of the comfort zones that we put our minds in. We do the same old thing, go to the same old places on holiday, talk to the same old people about the same old stuff, because we are afraid. We are afraid to get out of the box that we have put ourselves into and trapped ourselves. And Mara loves it. He doesn't want you to look outside. So the sixth one is cowardice. The seventh is doubt. 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 Nowadays we have like 10 million religions to choose from. Each of them saying, this is the path to enlightenment. Some of them are, like, you can have your cake and eat it too. Anyway, we won't go down that road. But doubt, we have just so many teachings to choose from. How do we know which one is the right one? Sorry, I'm missing the chats. Okay. Sorry, my glasses are no good. What can you say? Oh.
Shall I read it?
Marsan. Yes, please. Thank you. I'm getting a new
Yeah.
pair of glasses in 2 days, and in the meanwhile, I can't see a thing.
Yeah, I will read it.
Thank
It's Sean is asking, is this the letter to Mara from Punya Dhamma?
Yeah, it's the letter to Mara. It's the letter to Mara.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I had to peer into the screen. How embarrassing. Yeah, it's the letter to Mara by Venerable Punya Dhamma. It's really excellent. So, yeah. So where were we? Doubt. So the eighth is contempt and obstinacy. Contempt and obstinacy. Interesting. So contempt is like, putting someone down. Interesting. We enjoy that, don't we? Kind of feel a little bit superior when we think, oh, they don't really know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. And we kind of delight in that. And it stops us from looking within and seeing our own faults. Quite often, what we don't like about others are the very things that we do ourselves. So we're extremely busy finding fault, noticing what everyone else is doing wrong, so that we can't turn around and look at ourselves. So contempt is another one that Mara loves. And obstinacy, stubborn. I know what I'm doing. You don't tell me what to do. I'm going to keep doing it my way. Yeah. Contempt and obstinacy. The next one is praise and honor. We don't realize it, but we like doing that job. In fact, people, like your bosses say, oh, you're really good at that. But basically, they want you to do something, right? But we love praise and honor. We don't like this. We don't like being told off. We don't like, people saying, well, that wasn't very good what you did. So we're suckers. We're suckers for people liking us. We're suckers for people. I mean, it isn't a bad thing, but it drives us in a certain direction. It drives us to do what people want us to do. It drives us to do what Mara wants us to do. Drives us to not go the other way and do something that is against what the sheep are doing. So praise, honor, and gain. And are we at 9? Yeah, we're at 9. And the last one is extolling oneself and scorning others. putting ourselves up and disparaging others. So again, we do this all the time. We know how other people did things wrong, not the way we should have done it. And we kind of enjoy it, don't we? I mean, we do it in innocuous ways, like the government. That's all right. They don't talk back, so you can scorn the government. But all these little things, I mean, the TV can't talk back to us, but what does it do to our mind when we belittle someone? What does it do to our hearts when we sort of think ourselves slightly superior to someone else? So anyway, so these are the 10 armies of Mara. And like I said, I went through them very quickly. And if you were actually sitting in front of me, we would have had a lot more fun. Because I'm sure you have a million ways that you fall into these, are sold by Mara's ploys, which, which I'm sure you can entertain all of us with. But just to stop there, and perhaps I'll just read them out again, and perhaps in the last 15 minutes we can share our own delights, our own ways of falling into Mara's traps. But yeah, so the first was sensual pleasures, ones that everything we love. The second was boredom. The third was hunger and thirst. The fourth was simply craving. The fifth was dullness and drowsiness. The sixth was cowardice. The seventh was doubt. The eighth was contempt and obstinacy. The ninth was praise, honor, and misbegotten fame. And the 10th was extolling oneself while scorning others. So these are the 10 armies of Mara. Yeah, it's I hope I didn't depress anybody. I think it's funny actually, because oh, there you go. Thank you, Manori. She wrote them all down. Because you've got to laugh at yourself when you fall for these tricks. And it's good to just be aware, because they're nothing inherently, like you can see that they're nothing inherently terribly evil, but they're just ways that we waste our life. We waste our human existence and the opportunity to free ourselves, to free our minds from these shackles that just bind us endlessly to this hamster wheel, that we go on and on and on. Yeah. So just becoming aware of these tendencies just helps us to pull back every time we are about to bite the hook. And of course, instead, there are far more beautiful things that you can do with your mind, like have thoughts of generosity, thoughts of caring, thoughts of sharing, thoughts of compassion. All these things are what the Buddha encouraged us to develop in order to find true joy. Last joy that leads to a purified mind. So yeah, I'll just stop there and in the last few minutes open up for comments and questions. And there we go. We have Richard. Go ahead.
Give me a minute, Richard. Got it here.
Oh yes, hi Venerable. Good afternoon in Australia.
Hi.
Hello. basically, first, I was thinking about Mara's one about courage, you know, and basically courage one. So, like, for example, about oh God, many long time ago, when I was a young man, I was in the Buddhist Society in London. I was in a particular class. I decided to leave because it just didn't really work well. So I decided to, out of courage, really, and desperation, just to do the complete opposite and to become a very naughty boy. And so I did all the naughty things that I had never done. So I did all the naughty things I could possibly do within reason. I didn't do anything really bad. I didn't go bank raiding. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't take any really bad drugs. But I just needed to do these things, to grow up. And it helped me to sort of develop confidence in myself. I needed to so I went squatting. I went living with groups of lots of different sorts of people. I did lots of experimentation. I had living with 2 girlfriends and squatting in 2 different places at one time. All these naughty sorts of things you do, And in the end, it got a bit out of hand. And I was living my own squat in King's Cross, and and all friends of mine who were junkies, and I wasn't a junkie myself, but all these friends were junkies, and I was living in a basement. I was in the back garden one day thinking, well, I got as far as I could enjoying myself. I had about 5 or 6 guys looking to beat me up in London. So I got to that point thinking, well, okay, I've had a good time, and I got a bit, realized that I got a bit out of hand. And I think I better sort myself out after having a good time. So, I went back to the Buddhist Society, but I didn't go back to the Zen group. But I found a friend of mine who took me to Amaravati and introduced me to Buddhism. So took me in his van and said, "This is Buddhism, Richard." He says. So took me to Amaravati, and from there, I also got interested in Tibetan Buddhism as well, and I found that very helpful. And then I sort of, I didn't sort of desist from being such a naughty boy, but as well at the same time, I found it very helpful. All the things I did, so it was very helpful. So, I got out of my comfort zone for about 5 or 6 years, and but it's very enlightening, and I sort of needed to do it. I mean, there's loads of things I can say, but I can't really say it publicly. So it's like it would be a bit, bit rude, but I should say that had a bit of adventure and good teachers, and some who are not alive now, but these people helped me, and so sometimes you need to do these things, and so now I'm back on the straight and narrow, and so courage is sometimes needed. So that's okay. So I thought I'd share that.
Thank you for that entertaining story.
Oh, you're welcome.
Gunther.
Yeah, thank you. So I never thought about Mara. I was surprised to hear it talk about that. But my experience is that, interestingly, I quit my job once without having another job. It was in Sri Lanka because of some cheating of the local directors there against the owner. My wife didn't like it. I was married by that time, and the plan was to stay in Sri Lanka. That's the thing. And so, and this is why we went to England. And I must say, sensual pleasures I still buy books, Buddhist things, CDs, and the music is important to me. But I observed recently, the last years, that also I enjoy it. It has not like in the past, it is more a natural enjoyment, I would say. I can't describe it really, but it is like I observed that some of these points changed to the better, I would say. Some are still there. I mean, I'm still a person who has to be active. I from small, since childhood, I have to do something. Yeah, and it is, and I'm tired in the evenings, and so where I really want to do things, or have to do things, and do it. But it's a very, very interesting idea what you brought up, which I was surprised initially, but it's and I want to read the text, the book. I tried to read it. But thank you for that. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. We exhaust ourselves and collapse.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any other reflections? Jenny. Hello.
Hello, long time. Hi, thank you for that. That was really good. Really interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how well formed it is, but I'm looking at the list and how number 8 is contempt, and then number 10's got denigration of others, and noticing, that's a little bit of two things.
Repetitive.
I'm wondering, with the contempt, I don't know if I missed it, but if there's a kind of place for putting oneself down and putting others up, the opposite to the kind of...
Right.
Is there a space in there for some of that? Because that seems like, I'm sure I'm not alone with that.
Yeah. I'm sure it comes from the same source of I'm better than, I'm worse than, I'm the same. This constant judging that we do, whether it's contempt to others or contempt towards ourselves. I mean, it's sad, isn't it? It's sad that we put ourselves down and we make ourselves small, and I mean, but it seems to be like, our culture. Oh, no, kind of, I'm no good at stuff, That was really, I'm very good at this. Don't listen to my talks. They're no good.
Yeah. And I think it's really, sorry.
Sorry?
I was going to say, I think it's really helpful to have Mara as a framing for me, to be able to go, I see you, Mara.
Right.
To help kind of externalize it, and
Right. Exactly. To say, I see you, Mara. And that's how Mara is beaten. It's not beaten or whatever it is, not by attacking him with clods and fists, but to say, I see you, Mara. I see what I'm doing here. And then the mind goes, aha. Yeah. Thank you.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, sure. Breda.
Sorry. Hello, Aya, and everyone. It's lovely to see you, and thank you for that talk. I suppose the one that, well, all the what do you call it, the letters, if you like, or the armies, I should say, or I can connect in with them all, but and understand. But the dullness and drowsiness, I suppose, I'm just confirming, if you like, procrastination is a huge one for me, but I guess that would come into that as well. I'm just, sharing that I'm right in thinking that it makes no difference. I know I have a real issue with procrastination, but I guess I can put it into that category if you like. Yeah. It's a big one for me. Yeah.
And how do you sort of convince yourself to not procrastinate?
Oh, I don't succeed at times at all. I can think up a reason. I have a million reasons why, and why I can procrastinate, if you like. And to me, they're valid at the time, but of course I know they're not. I just find it a real challenge. It's as much a habit or conditioning that I've gotten into way back over the years, if you like. I feel that's how it is. And it takes, a lot then to change that and change that pattern. I do succeed at times and not completely given up, if you like. But yeah, I find it really, really challenging. Yeah, very much so.
Gosh. Yes, I think we all know about procrastination. Yeah. I actually Googled it the other day because someone asked a question, how do you deal with procrastination? And Google's very helpful. AI is very helpful. It had make things down into smaller pieces and give yourself rewards and I can't remember, but
yeah.
Yes,
I'll do that.
Try Google. There's a lot of suggestions for procrastination.
Thank you.
Yes. Ajahn else has any?
I thought I'd share something that I found in one of Ajahn Brahm's books. So this is something kind of, when you meditate, you bring all these things that you've been doing, you're making your life busy into the meditation, and then you wonder, why doesn't the mind still? Because the mind fills up things when the mind gets still. So he kind of recommends in the daily life, this is what you have practiced. You have filled up your mind, and now, like just 1 hour of meditation, you're thinking that you can turn it around. You can't. You have to kind of, whatever you have conditions is the one which comes to the meditation cushion. And then he kind of recommends, if you are bored, stay with the boredom and see, why did that happen? How is it? And, just make yourself comfortable of staying with that boredom, and then that will help you kind of not to fill things when you are meditating as well, fill things with all the thoughts.
Right. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Just to let ourselves be with that unpleasant feeling, because that's what is the problem, isn't it? We don't like that sort of discomfort. Try with small discomforts before big discomforts. A slight discomfort of wanting to pick up your phone. Just don't do it. See what it feels like, just for a second. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we should wrap up.
Yeah, so only 1 minute more, and thank you very much for all of you who have come and, being able to make this community of Anukampa. And as you know, today's teaching was offered on a donation basis in the spirit of generosity. And thank you, Venerable Upekkhā, for giving us this wonderful, wonderful talk. And I'm going to listen to it many times. I even, quickly clicked and bought that book as well. With your generosity, Anukampa Bhikkhuni project is going to kind of provide this community and the wider world teachings like these, retreats, and also opportunities for women to ordain. So that is one of our biggest plants at Anukampa. And the Anukampa Grove Monastery, the new monastery, kind of gives more space for monastics as well. If you haven't been there, go and see there. When from December, the Dana calendar is open as well. And if you're able, I gratefully ask you to kind of do a dana by way of a financial support. And you can see, I can put the link, but you can go to our website and see as well. And there's different ways of joining as well. So you can email team@Anukampa project and get, find out how to get involved as well. So, and thank you very much for coming and joining with these talks and creating this lovely community.
Okay, thank you, Manori. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's really lovely to see everyone again. It's like old friends.
Okay.